So I have the privilege of coming up here and speaking on behalf of Richard, who's retiring, obviously. And I was going to come up here and say a lot of nice things, but they've already been said by Nicole and Kristen and Frank, and thank you all for stealing my thunder. So I'm going to kind of go off the cuff a little bit, so please just bear with me as I try to get through this. I met Richard about 10 years ago, and it started when I started to transition from teacher to then the dean of students at the middle school, and then ultimately into an administrator role here, fortunately. And you know, when I first met him, I kind of had this thing where I sized people up. What am I going to talk to this guy about? You know, school psychologist, much older gentleman than me. What are we going to have in common? So, Jamie Farr told me, Jim, you need to talk to Richard. You need to listen to Richard, and you will be a better person for it. So, I took that to heart, started talking to Richard very frequently, and as I got to know him, you know, I started to slowly realize we have a lot in common, actually, more than I thought we ever would. And, you know, just from things like how we view education, you know, how we view family, life in general, The Office, that was a common thing that kind of bonded us early on, just talking about Michael Scott. Sports, obviously. One problem with sports, and most of you know this, Richard is a Green Bay Packers fan. I am a Minnesota Vikings fan. So he and I have had a tendency sometimes to get into, we'll call them disagreements, about the character traits of a one Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna leave it at that I don't care for Aaron Rodgers very much at all. I don't think he's a nice man, but Richard thinks differently, and that's okay. But regardless, as I got to know Richard, you look at Richard, he's well put together. Nice looking gentleman, I'll give you that compliment. Well dressed, mostly. Although he's got a little field day look to him today.
Gotcha.
Well, you took that shot at me. Well versed, intelligent, absolutely. But he is a quirky dude. And those of you that know him, and those of you that have heard me talk about him, this is how I describe Richard to everybody. He is the strangest normal man you will ever meet. And I can stand up here and I can tell you stories and I can get some laughs at his expense for sure, but I'm not going to do that. And the reason I'm not going to do that is because the most important thing I've heard from Richard is humility and being humble. And he is a humble man who does not want the spotlight. We've talked about this a little bit this week. He's kind of felt me out because he knew I was going to say something. And he doesn't want to be embarrassed. He doesn't want to have, you know, all that attention. And, you know, I think I speak for a lot of people in this room when I say I have the utmost respect for Richard Jones. And I didn't want to do anything that was going to take away from his joy and his happiness on this day. But then I got to thinking, when am I ever going to have this opportunity again? Walk around a little bit so everybody can see. This is my Coach Jones fan club t-shirt. He is the man, the myth, and the legend. So these will be for sale out in the parking lot. I'm selling them out of my trunk. All proceeds will go directly to me. Richard, that's not it though. Number one, for what I'm about to do, I'm sorry. Number two, I'm not really sorry. And number three, I wanted to honor and pay tribute to you in the best way that I knew how, and that was through the power of a music video. Those of you that know Richard know Bruce Springsteen is his favorite guy. There was a song in the early 90s called The Streets of Philadelphia. I may have stolen some of that for this. That's as loud as I can get it.
Hall of Fame basketball coach at FSCC and a pickleball star in the Indie League. But when you never stop making those submarines, you can bring yourself to try to believe on the streets of Pittsburgh. Looking for a place to eat and then counting letters to the wrong seats. Springsteen came out and you started to dance. We laughed so hard, we wrapped up heads. So Phillips didn't
Random fact kind of bets.
Aaron Rodgers is an asshole. You might know this, my friend. And the floor don't want you no more. This time as a pre-made calories coming to an end. Well, now you're retiring and it's time for you to go. But we got one last message that you need to know. You've been more than a accountant, a mentor and friend. We just hope to see you soon again on the streets of Phillipsburg Springs.
The best thing about
videoed it.
you are all the little nuances and references to stories that a lot of you don't know. And I strongly encourage you to approach Richard and ask him about those things so that he will have to uncomfortably retell those stories over and over again. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, Jimmy's retiring after today, I'm not really gonna see him anymore. I just walked you directly to his house. And if you're thinking, well, I wasn't really paying attention and I'm not going to remember the lyrics, the video goes live on my YouTube channel in 14 minutes. So, have at it, people. It's the gift that will keep on giving. Richard Hartman. In all seriousness, Richard Jones, you have had a profoundly positive and lasting impact on thousands of people's lives. Students, staff, community members. And I have the honor of saying on behalf of all those people, thank you for your years of service and dedication to Middle East. And congratulations on well-deserved retirement.